Who among the kind of last wave, say, if we're talking about, like, you know, Jimmy Connor, Pat Cash, John McEnroe, that period, who among those guys, which of course Boris was the tail end of, are the ones that you would consider the greatest, or that you would most like to work with?
This guy, he kind of gets forgotten a little bit, Ivan Lendl. He was a great player. I mean, John McEnroe is someone that I think everyone used to love watching.
He's still fiercely competitive when he plays on the seniors tour.
Yeah, I mean, I've practiced with him a few times, and he loves it. I mean, he practices so much. Actually saw him and Jimmy Connors, who didn't get on that well when they were playing, but they were actually playing against each other at the US Open. They were practicing with each other every day. So, yeah, those guys still love it. But yeah, probably McEnroe, Agassi. I got the chance to practice with them quite a few times, but never got to play him. So that he was one of my favourite players growing up.
I would say Jimmy Connors probably the worst haircut in tennis, and that's even counting Agassi in the years when he was wearing a wig. Let me ask you about when you're playing. You guys, you have these that you have forfeits, don't you? If you're playing with your teammates and someone lets the other one down, what's your favourite forfeit to dish out?
We've actually had so many. Had some good ones. The worst one that I've had to do, I had to wear a pink tracksuit for 3 days. That was actually when I was in Miami, so I didn't stand out too much over there. But yeah, that was probably the worst one I've had to do. But just all sorts of stupid stuff like that.
Must be like Mr. Blobby playing. Yeah. And what forfeit would you like to dish out that you haven't been able to? Do you kind of have a list? Do you start thinking in advance what you might do?
Because I rate myself at the game. Like, I want to play for the worst thing that you can play, that we'll play for.
So you think, set yourself the challenge that I won't lose. I can't lose.
I won't lose, and that I'm going to win the game. So I would rather play for, the worst thing. But some of the guys I work with have taken quite a few too many forfeits. So forfeits are quite boring at the minute.
So nothing too bad.
Nothing too.
And you don't really want them to suffer too much, because you are going to win 9 times out of 10, aren't you? If you're not going to win playing against them, then there's something wrong.
Yeah, exactly. One of the worst ones was my fitness trainer. He had to do, we all go in the ice bath together, and he had to get in there naked.
Who was the forfeit for there? Was that to make you feel worse?
Yeah, we've done all sorts, but. Yeah, they were getting to a point where guys weren't really enjoying them anymore.
Cutting fingers off and stuff like that. Do you think people know the real Andy Murray? Do you think people, when they write about you or when they talk about you, do you recognise yourself in what they're saying?
No, I think I'm very different away from like camera and stuff. I don't feel that comfortable, like in press conferences or when I'm doing interviews with, people from the news or whatever. I don't really feel that comfortable. So, come across maybe as quite sort of defensive, but I'm not. I'm not really like that with my friends.
Well, I think. Well, how would your friends describe you then? What would your friends say about you?
I'm sitting back there, but I'm very competitive, which probably comes across when I'm playing matches. That's quite obvious, but. No, I think I'm quite laid back. I try and have as much fun as possible, joke around all the time with the guys that I work with and all of my friends, and yeah.
Well, I know that about you, and I feel a bit bad when I see people talk about you as being dour. They talk about you as being a kind of, a slightly moody Scotsman, which I guess fits a certain idea they want to have about you. And like you were saying, you're competitive, and that's a good thing in the sport. I think if you didn't seem focused and in the game like that, then they'd give you a hard time for being too light-hearted. So I suspect you probably couldn't win. But I saw some footage. I wanted to show this footage here of you falling around, like you said. Have a look at this, and this will show you a bit more of the Andy I think most people know.
Hi guys, I'm here with Matt Little, strength and conditioning coach, and he's here to say this.
So guys, if you've got any questions that you want to ask about tennis or fitness, then you can put them on Andy's Facebook, and we'll get back to you next week with the best answers.